Hi everyone, welcome back to ONYX Pages. I'm Njeri. It has been quite some time since I have filmed a Friday Reads video, but it is Friday and I've been reading, so let's do the thing. Okay, so right now I am reading two books and I am actually almost finished one and I just started the other. So the first book that I'm reading is The Year of the Witching by Alexis Henderson. This is it's not, I wonder, I'll just say it's a fantasy, I would just say it's an adult fantasy. And in this, we're following Emmanuel. And Emmanuel is a young woman who lives in this village. It's in this very religious, very patriarchal society where, she has been marked as someone who is basically an outcast because her mother was responsible for some very kind of dark deeds in this society. You've got a very, very religious group of people who their spiritual leader is called the prophet, and he is the intermediary between the father. And in this world, there's also this other kind of group that worships the Dark Mother, who is in the woods. And the very, very religious people who follow the father have this very, very complicated, very sort of sophisticated set of rituals that involves multiple wives and following very strict codes, and women are basically wives who work in the house and have to avoid being seen as sinful, but they're always inherently sinful. It's this whole patriarchal, very controlled society, very, very sexist, very, very classist, very, very racist. And so Emmanuel lives in this world, and she is part of a family that used to be in the favor of the prophet, but wasn't because of decisions that her mother made that cast shame upon her family. Anyway, so that's Emmanuel. And she's a shepherdess, which I think is really cool. She actually has a flock of sheep, which I've never seen in a book, and I think this is so cool. That's really amazing. And a chain of events sort of happens where she ends up interacting with the Dark Wood, which is the place where witches are supposed to live. And something happens to her as she starts to interact with the Dark Wood. And in her interactions with the Dark Wood, she learns more about her mother. She learns who's dead. And she learns more about her father, who she didn't really know anything about. And she learns more about this community of people who live on the outskirts, who are not part of her society. So the Year of the Witching it's dark. It's this kind of dark religious sort of pre-technology society. So if you're interested in that kind of story, I've heard it described as a sort of gothic fantasy. If you're interested in that kind of story, I would recommend it. I am enjoying it. I have about 20 pages left to read, so I'm right in the last part, and I'm enjoying it, and I would recommend it. I'm looking forward to the opportunity to apply the 7 calorie shell rating system to it, but I am enjoying it. I want to show you some of my annotations. So this is the cover. So it's dark and misty, and if you look really closely, it's actually got flecks of red for blood, because like blood is a thing in this world. And I used gray marker to annotate the inside. So one of the things that I do is when I want to understand the world, I'll set out, like, draw little maps or do like a family tree and write down the names of characters. I started to do that because I think that it kind of helps me follow things, follow the story. And also I'll show you the inside. So I underlined and highlighted. So I've been circling and writing in the margins, and this is what I've been doing. I've been doing this thing where I don't underline the whole line. I just underline from the edges in. I'm going to be adding washi tape and stickers when I sort of bedazzle it, but this is just sort of the basic annotation for my own purposes. And I am reading The Year of the Witching because it was the book of choice for September for the solar-powered Afrofuturism slow reading group on Facebook. And our reading group is meeting tomorrow, and we are going to have our discussion of The Year of the Witching. And also this weekend, there will be an interview. I think it's going to be over on Chloe's channel, interviewing Alexis Henderson, the author. So that is also happening as well. So if you've read The Year of the Witching and you would like to discuss it, you can find the solar-powered Afrofuturism slow reading group on Facebook, and you can also search for it. It's SOULar. You can also search for the event on Eventbrite, because that's where you can get your free ticket to come. I think it's tomorrow, I want to say 1 p.m. Eastern, and it will be a Zoom discussion about The Year of the Witching. The second book that I'm reading is Dawn by Octavia E. Butler. Dawn is the first book of the Xenogenesis series, also known as Lilith's Brood series. This is the second series of Octavia E. Butler's that we are reading as part of the Octavia E. Butler Slow Read. For those of you who are not familiar with the Slow Read, there is a group, and if you put everybody together, everybody who's purchased tickets, we have over 1,000 people, well, not purchased, but got tickets. Over 1,000 people around the world have signed up to read with us. We are reading Octavia's entire body of works slowly and luxuriously over 2 years. We are celebrating our birthday because we started in September of 2020 with Kindred, and we have read one book every 2 months. So we read Kindred, then Wild Seed, then Mind of My Mind, then Clay's Arc, then Survivor, then Pattern Master, and now we're on Dawn. So we're on book 7, and we will be reading all the way to November of 2022, at which point we will have all read all of Octavia Butler's works. So I know that it can be a bit difficult to figure out when to join the slow read, but this is a really good time to sign up and join us because we've started a new series. We're entering into a new world, and let me tell you about that world. So in Dawn, we follow Lilith Iyapo. Lilith Iyapo is a Black woman, and the story starts out where she is in this like weird cell. She doesn't exactly know where she is and what she's doing there and how to get out. And she ends up like remembering that every so often she wakes up, things happen, voices speak to her, she interacts with things, and then she goes into a coma-like sleep and then is awakened again. And so basically it's the story of a woman who is imprisoned, captured by an alien race that has had an encounter on Earth after a war that happened on Earth that pretty much screwed up the entire planet. So this story, it's not like your classic first context story, but it is a story where, you know, we are looking at humankind through the lens of this like alien race, and I think that's always really interesting. And right now it's the interaction between one member of this alien race and a Black woman who is just trying to figure out what to do with all of this. So actually in about 20 minutes or so, I will be hosting the second slow reading session. The slow reading session is where we read the book together and talk about it. We had our first one on Wednesday. You can find a link to the video somewhere on my channel. So we're going to have our second session tonight. I've read part 1, which is called Womb. So I've finished part 1, and this cover is beautiful. I've been annotating in this fuchsia red situation, and there, as you can see, there's a lot to work with, as you know, as there is with anything that Octavia E. Butler writes. There's so many questions about. It's interesting when you see a Black woman who has the experience of being viewed as alien and other encounter an actual alien that finds her alien for reasons unrelated to racism. So it's just a very interesting experience. So I'm reading that right now and excited to continue the journey. So we're going to be finishing this book, reading it tomorrow, and then the live show is going to be on Sunday at 1 p.m. You will be able to watch it on this channel, and you can but if you'd like to actually participate in the small group discussions and stuff, then you have to get your ticket through Eventbrite for the Octavia E. Butler slow read. I'm actually going to be adding a little bit more color before the slow read starts. I want it to match the covers, so I'm going to be putting some green and some yellow and some gold sparkly marker shortly. But I'm very excited. I'm right here, part 2 family, and this is where I'm going to start for the slow read. So that is it. That is what I am reading this Friday. It's nice to film a video. So it's going to be a busy weekend for reading and community. So please feel free to join us tomorrow to talk about the Year of the Witching. Join Chloe on her channel on Sunday to watch her question and answers interview with Alexis Henderson about the Year of the Witching. You can join the Octavia E. Butler slow read on Sunday if you've read Dawn, if you want to read Dawn, and even if you haven't read it, but you want to just like listen to people talk about it, you're also welcome to join us. So that is it. I would like to remind you to read with purpose. And who do I want to shout out? I'm going to shout out Shane from Luxurious Blue because he's an internet cousin of mine and I love him very much. So you should check out his channel. It's really nice to film a video. I will see you later. Happy Friday.